Welcome back. This is Daybreak, and thank you for staying with us. The hashtag on X is Citizen Daybreak. The SMS code is 22422 at Citizen TV Kenya and at Ayub Abdikadir. So this morning here we are focusing on cerebral palsy. The world will be marking the Cerebral Palsy Day on the 6th of October next month. And with me in studio is Dr. Cliff Owinyo on my far right, who is the general practitioner at the Langata Hospital. Good morning, Dr.
Good morning.
Much appreciated for your time. On my immediate right is Matthew Karungu. He is Cerebral Palsy champion. Good morning, Matthew.
Good morning.
Lovely having you here. And Agnes Wanjiku is a parent. Agnes, good morning.
Morning too.
Lovely having you here on the broadcast as well.
Thank you.
Dr. Let's begin with the basics. What causes and what is cerebral palsy?
So basically, when you talk of cerebral palsy, this is a group of permanent conditions that are characterized by disorders in the function and posture, the movement and posture. These conditions are caused by disturbance in the brain, which is usually non-progressive, and the disturbances happen on a developing brain. That's in a fetus and the infant period. So it can happen around that period. Basically, when you talk of cerebral palsy, it does not only involve the movement and the posture, it can also involve the speech, the feeding, and also other comorbidities, such as convulsions and the likes. So what really causes cerebral palsy, you divide it based on the prenatal aspect, before birth, during birth, and after birth. Prenatally, what usually happens is anything that will compromise the brain function, damage the brain, or a brain that is abnormally malformed. So such causes prenatally include anything like that will hinder the blood flow to the fetus, such as maternal high blood pressure. We have causes such as maternal infections, which are simple infection like a urinary tract infection that can ascend to cause things like preterm delivery, which is another cause. So such causes sometimes just a normal, away from the normal development of the brain, that again can cause this. So during birth, we have what we call accidents during delivery. This apparently forms the lesser percentage of the cause of cerebral palsy, a small, less than 10%. People think that it's majorly during birth that people get cerebral palsy, but that's a misnomer. So accidents, we have infections. You can have traumatic brain injury during birth.
Matthew, tell us about your experience and the courage and the determination that made you come forward, that made you create awareness around this entire topic of cerebral palsy.
I was born with cerebral palsy for 39 years ago, turning 40 years in December, and I had support from the family and relatives. We used to go everywhere with them. They did not feel bad having me, so I had a lot of support from family members, friends, and relatives.
And Agnes, as a parent who is taking care of a cerebral palsy patient, what's the experience? What are the challenges?
Actually, there are so many. Because just imagine giving birth to a child, a mother expecting a child to be normal, and now you see something which is not normal. It is very challenging. And now, as you nurse the child, most of the mothers, you know how we do, you have to check all the parts of the body. And these children of CP, They are very interested to legs. Everything is just loose. So as a mother, it becomes a trauma. And also, you can, if you are not careful, you can be sick. And now if you are sick, who will take care of this child?
Yeah.
So the challenges that are there are so many. One is because you start now going to the hospital at early age when you understand it. But if you don't understand it, it will take long. And if it take long, that is the worst part of it, because now going to see the doctor when the child is almost in knee zero, it is, even the doctor will ask you questions. I wish you came early. But now, you yourself as a mother, you don't understand. So it is always good to take the child to the clinic and even get the best doctors, because even doctors don't understand, most of them, what is happening to the child. So the doctor will just tell you, just go home, feed the child, just like that.
Okay.
So the greatest challenges is because now when you start medication is very expensive for these children, which is giving a lot of headache to parents, especially the young ones. They are really suffering. And even the diapers themselves, because you are going to start using the diapers immediately. So this is another big challenge, because most of us, we are not working, because when you're having a CP child, working is a big problem. Because even if you keep a business, you are always on the move, because these children are getting confusions always.
Thank you.
And you are running to the clinics. Okay. You have no money. You see, now even getting the medication is always a challenge.
All right.
And so we are having a lot of trauma ourselves as caregivers.
Okay.
And it is only God who has kept us up to this stage. Because like mine now, she got sick when she was in 7 months. Now she's a big girl of 15 years. Now you start another process of the girl. You see, when she starts in menstruation, you are the one who is taking care of that. So unless God helps you, it is a big issue.
Yeah, okay. Dr. Cliff, then, what are the do's and don'ts in the case of the pre-birth stage here for the mother to avoid to increase the risks probably increase the risks probably of the development of cerebral palsy?
Well, you're right. That's a good question, Ayub. We really want to prevent it, yeah? Because given that it's not genetic, it can be prevented. Now, early on, during pregnancy, we want to ensure these mothers first are well educated about cerebral palsy, yeah? So that once they have the education on the causes, prevention, so starting from there, we want to educate them on early, starting their clinics early. We want them to see, to stick to their appointments. Yeah, we want to give them supplements. Yeah, we want to monitor the growth of of the baby and also the mother general well-being during the pregnancy. Some of these things, by 20 weeks gestation, you find that you can even tell the anomaly scan of a baby. Just look at the fetus and say, these are the probable outcomes. So that's a thing we really want to sensitize as well. It will still be a challenge, even if we find it there.
Yes.
Yeah, because the options that we give are still not pleasing, which are really tough. You can either continue and know that this is what you'll deal with, or medical termination at that point. Still sad. This is where I agree with Wanjiku, Mrs. Wanjiku, where she says that you need God. Yeah, you need God. During birth, definitely we expect active management of labor, which is a really good thing currently, emphasized by WHO, that we should always manage labor actively. Whenever you see a progress that is not actively, let's intervene there and then, and change the mode of delivery. Post that, I really want to sensitize mothers that early detection is paramount. Therefore, post-delivery, we want to look at the milestones. Probably you might not know the milestones, but if you go to the clinics, to the hospital, where the earliest person that will encounter the child, probably the nurse, will notice some change or delay in milestones. which when caught early and of the CP will be lesser to that child. Yeah, yeah.
And Matthew, how has been your journey? You have told us about the family support. Now you are a champion, no longer domicile at home. You're going about your affairs. You came here for this morning show. How has it been in terms of the society receiving you? Were you stigmatized? Were you seen different from the others?
I didn't feel stigmatized because the support which I got from family members and friends enabled me to come out there. In fact, I make a lot of friends very easily, and whenever I go, I'm welcome. Yeah. Yeah.
And when you went to school, was there special education? Were your special needs met when you were in school? Were you catered for as required?
For me, I went to boarding school at the age of 8 years because normal school was not able to cater for me. So I started at Georgetown from 1993 to 2002. Then I went to Okarau to finish my primary school in 2003 up to 2004. Then high school, my mom decided because I've stayed long in boarding, I was at this school. So I went to a school here called Ketriamina International Madenke Road, and I entered from 2 to from 4 because it was IGCE. Then I cleared in 2007. Then I told my mom I need to go to college, and I did. For my first course I did Tata Diploma in Business Management. Second year I did Advanced Diploma in Business Management. That year I did graduate in entrepreneurship as a business management. Then I was able to secure an internship at CCK, which I did for 3 months. Then I finished. I went back to school. I wrote a thesis, and it was sent to Business School of Costa Rica. Then I was awarded Bachelor in BA, Entrepreneurship and Small Business Management. Then I wrote a letter to Communication Authority of Kenya, which they accepted, and I went back to work on contract. Then I was employed on February 8th, 2017.
Okay.
Then later in the years in 2019, I told the office I want to do a master's. They supported me, and I got a master's in BA Strategic Management.
Thank you. Agnes, that's a long journey. Now I imagine handling a person with cerebral palsy through education up until employment and still needs your care, still needs your presence. And then our systems designed to help as many people as Matthew here who need education, who need employment, who need to be part of the society, who need to be recognized, who need to get services, who must get health care and stuff. From a caregiver's perspective, are all these demands met?
Surely, Abdi,
Yeah.
it's taxing, very taxing. And that's why I said, mentally, unless you lie with God, these things are not easy. But because life has to go on, and you have to take care of this child or these children, and all this process of life, we have to, like now, I always like talking about the young generation because they are really suffering. One, maybe one is married, the husband will go away because now he'll start complaining that the woman is the one who brought the sick child to the family. And now I wonder, if that seed is the man who planted, how comes the mother is the one now who is going to suffer?
It's running away from the problems.
Yeah. So these are funny things because now the mother is left with all the burden. Because the mother has to look for food. She has to take the child to the clinic or to the hospital. She has to look for a way to make this child survive. And the funny thing, these children are on special diet. And you can't afford the special diet. And that's why sometimes you hear so-and-so died. Because even the shocking of the food.
Yeah.
Because you can't afford the necessary food. So what do? Most of the times, the society is also giving us a lot of stigma. Because I can't take my child to my neighbor. Because they are fearing. Maybe this child will make mine sick also. So sometimes you start thinking, and you sideline yourself. You stay with your problems. But for how long are you going to stay with these problems? And that's why I thank God for CPSK. Because the work they are doing, CPSK, is wonderful. In fact, I was referred from Mama Lucy to go to CPSK. And the laugh I got from CPSK is so much that I can't tell. Because these people are having good caregivers. Yeah. They love the children. They do take care of the children. And now I can take my child there. I can go to for my business because they take the children in the morning and they bring them in the evening. So sometimes these are the institutions that are helping us to ease the burden. Yeah. And we thank God very much for them. Yeah. And in fact, if the society can be given chance, and they even CPK can get a place where they can build a big institution where they can help more people, that is the best thing we can. We can be very happy to get such a thing. Yeah. And we thank God very much because even you, citizen, we thank God for you because you are highlighting very important issues in this life. Many people don't understand. Many people are keeping their children in the house because they don't know what to do. Maybe when I take my child to the clinic, many are laughing at me. And they are saying, those ones are cursed. Yeah. So even the family members, sometimes they keep on talking funny things. And that's why I'm saying, without God, if you don't focus yourself to God, these things are not easy.
Okay. Dr. Yes. Does cerebral palsy affect everyone the same way, or there are different people with different symptoms and different realities?
Yeah, definitely it affects people differently, not in the same way. Given that, firstly, there are different types of cerebral palsy. The common one being the spastic type, where muscles are tight, the spasticity, the tones of the muscles are quite high. So that's the common one. And again, in that same spastic cerebral palsy, still there are different expressions in different people. Some will have a lesser version, some will have a more manifestation of the same. When you look at the different causes, there are some who lack balance, there are some who have stereotypic movements. Basically, in all, it's still a sad story. It's still a sad story, and we definitely have to support all of them. Yeah, it's not easy, the journey, but there are different ways of expression in each person. Yeah.
Agnes mentions the challenge with the reception at the society's level. Is there enough awareness and civic education around this?
Definitely there is not enough. I'll say that openly. The many people outside here, they'll just see a person. For instance, there's one of my neighbors back there at home who people see and they're like, hey, ule akona shida gani? He has the spastic version, but the speech is affected. Elderly, about 20 years there, but the speech is affected. So you find such person will come and want to get into a matatu, will be like, hey, you see, it's really tough to understand such a person unless you understand cerebral palsy. So I'll definitely I feel like...
yeah, Madhi wants to come, yes.
To come in, yeah.
I want to mention, like, in transport, it's very difficult for me. I can't get into a matatu like any other person. Then where a matatu drops you, it's very far from where you want to go. So I use Uber. Like now today I came with a taxi called Ace Mobility. And what I saw is I never left my wheelchair. It just opened the boot, brought down that ramp, and I went in. I was lifted up into the car, and I settled in the car with the wheelchair, which normally we don't see that in Kenya. This is a new taxi in Kenya. This is a new taxi app that just started, and they are able to cater for people with disability to move around to where they want to go.
Yeah. And Agnes, I'll come to you for the final question here. Dr. then talked to us about whether this can be developed at an adult stage.
Well, basically, with delay in diagnosis, you can identify it later. That's the thing. It happens early, but the milestones, let's say 3 months, the head is lagging. By 8 months, they cannot sit on their own. They start showing hand preferences quite early. So you see, unless you find a healthcare provider who's there and keen to identify this early, then it will be diagnosed late. Therefore, developing later is it's difficult unless it's a late diagnosis. There are many conditions that might mimic cerebral palsy that you might diagnose later or misdiagnose later. Yes.
All right. And is it life-threatening?
So, life-threatening in the sense that you can develop comorbidities that can definitely lead to the bad outcome. Yeah, but when managed well, it's you can just live with it really well.
Agnes, then you have talked about the challenges, and there is the Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya. As an association, is this complementing your efforts, for example, at home in taking care of people with cerebral palsy?
Very much. Very much. It is so helpful. Because like now, if they pick the child in the morning, I have all the hours now to do my work. And also I can do a small business, knowing that in the evening, I can get those diapers. And seriously speaking, these adult diapers are very expensive. Every week I have to use 1,000. So you see, at the period of 3 months, the much money I'm using. Because this child will use 1 diaper when going to school, then she will be changed. So every day she's using 2 diapers. And so this CPSK, sometimes they give us diapers when they are, we have donations from well-wishers. And that's why we are saying, if the society can embrace our children and come to our centers, even our leaders, funny enough, our leaders don't even come to see what is happening.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, because we need those diapers, we need even these bursaries. They need to be given bursaries like other children.
Yes.
And it is very interesting because I went somewhere about 1 month ago to look for bursary, but I was told these children are never given bursaries because we need report forms. And I asked them, have you ever come to our institution and see how the children are doing?
Okay.
They are not supposed to be given report forms. These children are just given skills so that they can stand on their own. If God keeps them alive.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, so let our leaders come on the ground, let them come to these institutions, let them see what is happening, let them bring those CDF, whatever. And even I urge our government, surely, our president, Mama Rachel, come down to the ground, see how mothers are suffering. We caregivers, nobody is caring about us. We are not working. We are looking after our children, and we are just struggling. Why should we struggle? And the children have justice to education. They have justice to health. So let them calm down and see what is happening.
Thank you so much. Madam Agnes Wanjeku, apparent here with us this morning on the broadcast to talk about caregiving to cerebral palsy patients. Thank you for your time. Matthew Karungu is a cerebral palsy champion, and he has made his point clear. Thank you, Matthew, as well. And Dr. Cliff Owinyi is a general practitioner at the Langata Hospital. Your time is appreciated.
Sorry to cut you short.
Because
just briefly. As Langata Hospital, we are in collaboration with Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya, and we are really here to help those people, including this 6th October, where we have the World Cerebral Palsy Day, where we want to organize a medical camp at Cerebral Palsy Society.
Yes, briefly, Matthew.
I'm also a board member of CPSK, and let us make advocacy of cerebral palsy so that people around the country can know and can come to assist the daily activities of CPSK.
Thank you. Much appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. And to get in touch with the Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya, 0720201527. A lady called Carol will help you guide on donations that you can make in helping children who are being helped at the Cerebral Palsy Society of Kenya, and a donation that will go a long way into the alleviation of the challenges that parents are undergoing who are taking care of children with cerebral palsy, and build a society that cares for everyone. Thank you for your time. Up next is another discussion all together, and we'll be talking about that when we get back from the break. Stay tuned.